read in the newspaper that a young boy had stabbed a young girl to death. It rocked me to the core of how a young lad could do this to a young girl.
Man, I mean, they're gonna kill me for this.
Salt and pepper chips, salt and pepper chicken, barbecued spare ribs.
Stephen, Ashley, thank you so much for speaking to us at Joe, ahead of Adolescence. Unbelievable. It was hooked, it was just grippy, it was entertaining, it was everything. I couldn't stop watching it. And it's extremely powerful as well. How important was this project for you both? And is it one that you could look back on and be proud of as well, one to look back on and think, that was powerful, I'm proud of that one?
I'm very proud. Very, very proud of it. I mean, I went into it not knowing what the experience was going to be. I was kind of wet behind the ears in a sense of Phil. I'd already known about Phil and the one-shot process that he was using, right? And I really wanted to get involved with that. I wanted to have that. And then Steve called me with this opportunity, like, you have to do this part. It's going to be different for you. No one's ever seen you in this light or whatever. So I was like, all right, cool. You know, I made my way down. And it just became one of the most freeing experiences I've ever had in my life, especially on TV. I mean, the only thing that can equate to it is, I guess, being on stage, you know, but that kind of being forced into a situation where you have to be present all the time, you know, no cuts, was just different for me and kind of revived a part of me that had been missing for many years, you know? How did you feel?
Yeah, you're locked in straight away, do you know what I mean? Kind of what it does, I think, what it does beautifully is it takes both disciplines and it marries them together, do you know what I mean? So you have that spontaneity and that rawness and that freshness and that live performance of theatre, but you also have the technique and the elements of cinema and television where it's minimalistic and it has to be natural. And then if I'm honest, you know, and I don't mean to sound pretentious in any way, shape or form, but you know the way certain like sportsmen and women say that they're in the flow, I think with this as well, the creative aspect of it, you're like a footy team. Do you know what I mean? So you all have that energy together and you pass the ball to each other. Do you know what I mean? And there's a tangible energy there and you're constantly supporting, you know, your fellow actor, do you know what I mean, in that respect. And you all, look, our overall objective is to try and make the best possible thing we can. And the collective consciousness that's a part of that process then, from the crew, you know, the sound department, our cameramen, do you know what I mean, the ADs, everyone's on the same page. So it's a wonderful energy that you go into, do you know what I mean? And if I'm honest, I think it's the most zen I've ever been as an actor because you're immersed in it, you're completely present and you're right in that moment, do you know what I mean?
What comes from that is a powerful product as well and something that touches on masculinity and the world today. I suppose, what were you trying to achieve with it, and what do you think it is like for young men growing up in today's world, especially with a world of social media and there's every aspect of the spectrum that can be reached and just pushed at them 24/7? I suppose, how do you feel about that?
It's extremely difficult for a young lad growing up as well it is for a young girl, do you know what I mean? And the reason why I wanted to make this particular piece was the idea that I had came from, I read in the newspaper that a young boy had stabbed a young girl to death. And then literally 3 or 4 months on the news, I was watching it and there was a section on the news about a young boy who'd stabbed a young girl to death. And these were both at opposite ends of the country. And instantly, if I'm really honest with you, you know, it hurt my heart. One as a father, but two as a human being. I was just really, I don't know, it rocked me to the core of how a young lad could do this to a young girl, do you know what I mean? And my main question was why? And then I think with getting Jack on board, who's a wonderful writer, I had the idea and the concept of what it was going to look like. And then it was just about raising that awareness, do you know what I mean? And that this could happen. Normally you'd see it from the perspective of the victim, and rightly so, wouldn't it? The formula would be from the victim, but I wanted to flip it from a different perspective and just say that, look, this can happen to any of us, do you know what I mean? And in the sense of that microcosm of the home and the macrocosm being the outside world, that's not really the case these days. When your boy or your girl is in their bedrooms, they have access to, like you just said, you know what I mean, the world, and influences from all different angles. And I think what my main question was that maybe we're all slightly to blame, or we should all look at it from different perspectives, you know what I mean? Not just the family, but the school, society, politics, do you know what I mean, community, would all maybe we should all be accountable in some respect. And it's not as if we're making a drama set in space, do you know what I mean, or something on Mars, do you know what I mean, some sci-fi adventure or anything like that. Not that there's anything wrong with sci-fi adventures, but it's something that's actually happened. So no one can point the finger and go, well, that's, you know, that's a load of, that's not really true. I'm sorry, but it is true because it's happened. Do you know what I mean? And ours is a fictitious case, but I just wanted to maybe shine a light upon that and raise the question of create conversation at home with parents and children. Do you know what I mean?
Do you echo that, Ashley, in terms of obviously your background being from London, and you know, we see the crime statistics in London and Liverpool and big cities, and there's kids that have probably gone astray. Was it powerful for you in that sense as well?
100%. I mean, you know, I came because Steve asked in the beginning, but then it became about the role, the part, and what that meant, and the heart of it. And the heart of the, you know, Baskin it wasn't about being a copper. It was like you could do all the research in the world about being a policeman. It was about him being a dad. You know, and that was the heart of it for me. And I'm a dad, you know, and I've spent many years. And one thing I've always known is the connection with my kids is really important, right? Asking them questions and being involved in their lives as much as possible is really important. That's the only way that you're going to, you know, be able to miss these sort of problems with your children, is having that connection. And I think, you know, as a society, as great as technology is and social media and all the great stuff it brings us, it's kind of taken us further away from human connection. And I think, you know, you can clearly see that in this story. So yeah, I think you know, there's no solution in this show. It's not about the solution. It's about raising the question,
the awareness,
why, you know, and the awareness and creating conversation like we're having now.
And we're not pointing a finger at anyone. We're not saying this is because of you or this is because of you. We're just saying let's have a look at it. Let's be, you know, let's be accountable for our part that we play within. And ultimately, look, the future, the kids are our future. Do you know what I mean? So if we can pass our own moral compass onto them in any way, shape or form, then I think we have an obligation to do that. Do you know what I mean?
I am speaking to two stalwarts of British cinema, British entertainment. Do you recognise the impact that you've had on British culture and cinema? Because both of you, like when I was growing up, we'd reference every one of your films, obviously, everything that you've done, and it really does seep into British culture. And do you recognise that?
Do you know what? I think it is. They're keeping it real. I struggle hearing that.
Yeah.
I struggle hearing.
Sure.
I'm such a kind of a normal guy from a normal background. You know what I mean? That just didn't. I didn't expect to be here. You know what I mean? I didn't expect to be a what do you call it? A stalwart.
For sure.
Of anything.
Wow. Yeah.
Because you think about like friendship groups will reference Top Boy in your quotes. Peaky Blinders. This is England. We will speak about that, and you influence everyone's lives. And I suppose it is crazy to think about, but
yeah, it's mad. You know, we like he says, we never set off to do that. You know what I mean? We're two young kids from, you know, working class backgrounds who had a bit of a dream, and today we're fortunate enough to be able to. We've worked really hard to get to where we are. Do you know what I mean? And we're blessed, and we're in a fortunate position to be able to live out that dream that we had. And in the same respect, our main obligation is to create opportunities, because we both believe and we both have the same ethos that you only keep what you have by giving it away. Do you know what I mean? Actually, with his school that he set up to create opportunities for young actors, mine and Hannah's production company, where we're trying to create opportunities in front and behind the camera. And that's the ethos that we go by. Do you know what I mean? I do feel we have an obligation, but it's only because of the way we are as men, that we want to try and create opportunities for other kids who have that dream that we had. And if you look at it, Owen. You know, we created an opportunity for a kid who'd never acted before in his life, and he is phenomenal. He's unbelievable. And the opportunity that he's had now, you know, he comes from a lovely family. His mum and dad are wonderful people. And he had a dream. He never thought that it was possible. He'd only done a couple of acting workshops. We saw over 500 young lads, do you know what I mean, for that particular role. And all of the young people involved in episode 2 are phenomenal. They're absolutely phenomenal. But we created that opportunity for Owen, do you know what I mean? And now he's working with Margot Robbie.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So that would have never happened if we hadn't have set off on this project in the first place. Do you know what I mean? So I do feel it's important for us to be a part of stories that create opportunities. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's working class representation, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
I mean,
in
look,
many ways.
you might never know who Owen
Yeah.
was.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if he
of
never,
course,
if this opportunity wasn't created for him, because there's also like the bridge. Where's the bridge? Where's the, the barriers to entry are sometimes so high to scale. I could never have made it in RADA, Lambda, all of those top tier drama schools, because I quite simply didn't have access to any of the things you needed to get through that door. Do you know what I mean? Which is why I created the drama school anyway. If you just because you don't know Shakespeare, you should still be able to have the opportunity to act at the highest level. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about.
And you should also have the opportunity to learn Shakespeare.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
exactly
mean?
that.
Yeah. Stephen, you're from the north. Ashley, you're from the south. Just wanted to do a little bit of north versus south as well. I'm going to go north every
Liverpool,
time. It's
Arsenal, then I was
Manchester.
going to be hey.
If I was to
The league
say,
mightn't be over yet. He says
It's done.
if I was to say north versus south, who has the better food? Where would you both go?
Man, I mean, they're going to kill me for this, but
Coming up now.
yeah, I'm going up north.
What are you coming for?
I don't know, man. Just choice.
Roast dinner.
Not necessarily roast dinner, but I mean, choice. There's a lot of London is diverse, so you get a lot of different.
Do you
food,
reckon there's
but
better food up north than down south?
but maybe that's because I'm from London.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know. I'm gonna be killed for this. So
No. Yeah,
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
Cut that bit out.
Chippies better up north.
Chippies are well better. They do
Nah.
like no.
Nah.
When look, no.
Let's not go there.
No, I'm gonna
Go
have
on.
to take you to a chippy in Liverpool.
All right, go on
because some of my mates when they first come, they're like, "What's all that then? What's that about you?" We have Chinese chippies, so you can have chips and fish and all that, but you can also get special fried rice, chop suey.
Chips and
Salt and
curry
pepper.
sauce.
Salt
Chips
and
and
pepper,
curry,
man.
salt and pepper ribs, salt and pepper chips, salt and pepper chicken. Oh man, barbecued spare ribs. I'm starving. We've had no dinner.
Yeah.
But you can get like you can
sounds
get half
good.
chips, half rice with barbecue ribs and sauce.
It's culture, man.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
It is culture. Where would
Proper
you
chippies.
say? I'm going to give north that one. Where would you say it's got better music? Heritage, now, everything goes into it. They've got the Beatles
I'm
and
going to
Oasis.
say that's equal.
Yeah,
personally.
I was
That
gonna
has
say
be
that, to
equal,
be
that.
fair.
You can't call that one.
I mean, you got some real big hitters that came from up north. That are still huge today. But then
Beatles
you
and
also,
Oasis, do you know what I mean?
but also London has become like a hub for like new artists and new music. So I'd say it's equal, man. Definitely.
Yeah, that Ray's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's fantastic.
And then final one, football.
You just have to look at your Champions Leagues, you know what I mean?
You're trying to kill me.
We've probably won the most
I get
leagues
it.
up north. Do you know what I mean?
This is a biased interview. So
if you combine
just
Liverpool and Man
Yeah.
United for the amount of Premier Leagues that have been won, obviously there's
You
loads
can throw
there.
City in there
What
as
are
well
you?
for me.
What are you? City.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
City, yeah, of course, City, Man City.
Tough times at the moment, though.
Man
Yeah, it's
City.
not great, mate, but you know it's fine.
Oh, they'll bounce back, don't worry, he'll be back there, Pep. Pep knows what he's doing.
Look at this. You two sticking together, are you?
I love City. I think City are a great side. You know what I mean?
Nice.
What they've done for.
Yeah. And I love
football.
Stephen, so
Yeah, okay, okay.
And it's been very close. You know what I mean? You've only won it twice by a point each time. Do you know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
and Pep has always said that we've really pushed City to be a better team.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No Southern teams to be found as well.
I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm out of this interview, bro. You're killing me.